go.
They've been friends going on 20 years and now stepping into one of the most dangerous behaviors of a lifetime, having an opinion and openly talking about it on the internet. It's Pinche and The Gringo.
Hey, and we're back.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I don't have bad internet now, so I was dealing with that like all last week into this week.
Did you have to call them out or what?
Yeah. They called out and replaced the line and did everything, so now we're good.
Now everything's up. That's what I was looking. We had a truck out when mine went down last week, Thursday, I think. We had a truck out front for a while again. It's like the load that's on that network now, it was already bad enough. And now,
yeah, it's crazy.
And then as we start moving into more schools starting back up, that's what I was looking. We had a guy. That's going to make things interesting. So we'll have to see. Well, good.
Yeah. Cool.
So we won't have involuntary show ending. It worked out.
Not like last time.
It worked out.
But today we're talking about cancel culture and some of the problems we have with cancel culture.
All the way through. So did you pull the definition on that? I was going to pull it. We could use the actual definition.
Dictionary.com. Cancel culture refers to the popular practice of withdrawing support for public figures and companies after they have done something considered objectionable or offensive. Cancel culture is generally discussed as being performed on social media in a form of group shaming.
That was dictionary.com.
Dictionary.com, yeah.
That kind of sounds really narrow-minded, or a little not narrow-minded, a little narrow in the definition, because it's like a person, a public figure, right? That's what it doesn't say person. It says a public figure or something else. That's what it limited to. Mm-hmm. Because when we see this stuff going on also every day,
because nobody cares about the everyday person.
But even it occurs just as much with the everyday person.
It does,
right? It just occurs in smaller populations and pockets. It's high school all over again.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond just public figures and companies. You can personally do this to somebody as well.
Yeah, there's definitely paths to it. So in that, though, what do you think it's doing as far as...
I don't think it's actually doing the good that people think it's going to do. I mean, in some cases, maybe. In most cases, it probably doesn't necessarily do the same thing that you really think it's doing. Like going for like companies. I mean, when you're talking about cancel culture, you're also talking about boycotting.
Exactly. Yeah, that would fit into the same realm. I mean, I think it's a pathetic level of self-gratification for people. Mm-hmm. When somebody's trying to cancel somebody else, they feel scorned in some way, and they are unable, either via face-to-face routes, to actually talk to the person, debate things, talk things out, come to some type of understanding of agree to disagree even. Maybe it's because of the social media stuff. And so then it just comes into the I have to win the fight.
Yeah.
And that's the...
and it comes into effect with the social justice warriors as well. They kind of go hand in hand with the cancel culture.
Yeah, social justice warriors are man, they're a bane of some types of existence, for sure. It's the... Yeah. But then, I mean, that term and that action didn't actually start negative. It was more to the lines of the overall community mindset. Mm-hmm. Is what that social justice aspect was to be. And it turned into being an SJW as a bad thing, because then you had people attacking everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, think I had my coffee. I'm going to get on the internet and see who I can destroy today. And it's like, why? What's your benefit? What's your purpose in that? Some more. Let's see.
But you better be using the right sweetener, or we're gonna cancel you.
Totally getting canceled. Raw sugar.
So this happened to a number of people out there. Al Franken.
Yeah.
And that happened to him.
What was Al? I want to look at his again for why he was truly kind of got that.
I think he took a picture with him looking like he was about to grab somebody's breast while she was sleeping. But I don't think he actually did it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Spell it out, some stupid internet. Yeah, he resigned on January 2nd after several allegations of sexual misconduct were made against him. So I don't know. I think but it did spawn from that photo. So if there are other incidents that I didn't dig into all the incidents, I just remember when I saw it coming out. Obviously, the photo in itself is not good. When you mentioned it, I remembered seeing it through a news story. That's things that you might see a young teenager do.
Yeah.
Or a very young man do. But once it's out, that's the educational point for, dude, that's no bueno. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and then that's the explanation to that person that, do you know all the things this potentially implies you do or may have done to this person? I mean, there's so much that can be not seen beyond the picture, but automatically get read.
Get assumed.
There you go. Yeah, get exactly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's they're assuming it because when this kind of stuff happens, it's actually going through, and you're trying to prove them. You're innocent until proven guilty. They're already saying that you're guilty.
That's what it's supposed. Exactly, that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, you run. There's several cancel. Basically, a lot of things fall under the cancel culture moniker for sure, and it's no matter what. If it just depends on who's throwing the stone, right? Because if they're of the right popularity and their follower count is really big, they can tell you hot dogs are blue, and somebody's going to go fighting for the fact that hot dogs are blue. It's that level. And then if you're not at the same level of popularity in that same social sphere, you don't have the weight, even though your own community may come to bat for you in the same level. And the sad thing about it on both sides is the community of the popular person and the community of the less popular person are completely oblivious to the true nature of the individual that they're signing up there to carry the flag for. He wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. It's like, you actually don't know this person. Just because you've given them 200,000 likes on every damn photo they post doesn't mean you know this person.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. The other one that we want to get onto the list, just because it was something that, like you were saying, guilty and then proven kind of innocent, and how that whole went as a show is something we should touch as we get through our list that we have. Add Angry Joe.
Yeah.
So Angry Joe, Austin guy, and does some damn good videos. But his bit through there is pretty neat. And then you see some really weird other responses to that one. But that whole, it really comes down to, this is the one I found on, so this is Cambridge Dictionary, right? So Cambridge Dictionary says, cancel culture is a way of behaving in a society or group, especially on social media, in which it is common to completely reject and stop supporting someone because they have said or done something that offends you.
So
That's
like
pretty accurate. I kind of like how that one
I'm
reads.
offended like that. Well, I'm not saying I personally am offended, but there was a ton of people that were
It's okay
offended
if you are.
by Ben Affleck as Batman.
Right. And then they go nuts and they try and get him canceled from it, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden we have to have a new Batman star.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some weird stupidities in that. Let's look at it. So the main argument against cancel culture is that it doesn't actually enable people who have wronged society the opportunity to apologize and learn from mistakes. If you're an internet user, chances are you have come across the idea that we live in a cancel culture or call out culture. Cancel culture has its place. It helps to call out and remove problematic people from mainstream culture. Did you get through all of Black Mirror?
The majority of it, of the first season.
Did you get through the one with the guy from Mad Men, the actor from Mad Men, and he's helping the cops, but he essentially sells an alternate download of you that you're like your own Alexa.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then they flag him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That scared the hell out of me. That Black Mirror scared the hell out of me.
A lot of them.
Oh yeah, a lot. That's true.
Yeah, a lot
of
of
those,
them.
I'm like, wow. And the thing is, I'm sitting here going, wow, I can see us going there. There's
Yeah.
an absolute road and a path that leads to almost all of those things, and I'm going, man, I hope I'm dead before then, because you just don't want to see that.
Well,
come
did you
about.
see? Did you see the one where they were going through and it was completely social media, and you got like points.
The rankings?
The
The
rankings.
rankings,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like you buy your coffee and somebody gives you a 4, and you're like, what'd you give me a 4 for? I just bought coffee.
And
It's like, well,
that's where
you said
cancel
Carmel, not the
culture
auto pump.
is totally like steering us towards, to be
That's
able to start doing that stuff where you're going through and you're actually destroying people's lives.
that stuff's already in place. Good old China, right?
Mm-hmm.
China's the one that's using a reputational score that can depend on whether that can actually affect whether you get cars, rental cars. They're already doing a social scoring like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like people wonder why I argue against facial recognition software. Well, that's one of the reasons why, is because we talk about the fact that there are aspects of our society that are already corrupt, right?
Right.
Individuals who are corrupt. It doesn't have to be a whole institution or anything, just be individuals. But if that individual has their pulse on a specific piece that connects you to your life, it can be destroyed in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And you have almost no recourse, which is why cancel culture in itself, for me, needs some type of recourse for the victims of it.
Yeah.
Because right now, everybody's able to run cowboy, like just roughshod through the whole thing. They can do what they want. They can say what they want. You can call anybody out on it.
Because of free speech.
Because of free speech. Yes, true.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Because it's free speech. Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing.
But
one thing that should not go away.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, run.
And then
but you have, even with free speech, right? There
mm-hmm.
are repercussions to free speech. And right
definitely.
now,
yeah.
we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that in the for those on the victimized side of cancel culture.
But I think we definitely should see consequences for this, because it really is destroying lives. Some may be warranted, yeah. Some maybe not so. Maybe some people can learn from some of these things, then and not have to completely destroy their livelihood to make money.
Yeah, that makes some other difficulties. Is one of the things that we argue very largely with the FCC is anonymity online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know how I am around a privacy thing. I have very certain aspects that I want things that should remain private or be private.
Right.
But in the internet aspect, it's a fallacy if you think things are private. That's where we get to sales IDs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're ID'd one way or the other. So in the fact that we don't have laws, we don't have proper laws. They're slowly coming about, but we don't have proper laws that apply to the things that occur on the internet. And the internet in itself has become such a valid part of our real world that it deserves some of that same treatment. But then we lead right into that Orwellian future, that 1984-esque future, because as soon as we start tracking you're online, now it's like, I mean, it already occurs. As soon as you submit your application and it gets past the robots, the first screener takes a look at your social media and digs through it. And for me, that's why my social media is usually private, if it's my personal social media, and I don't let a lot of people into that. Also, don't post a lot on social media. To me, social media has no value. There's no benefits to social media, and from my perspective.
Yeah, but you get to talk to your friends.
I can talk to my friends if I want to talk to my friends, right? And I can do it with a whole lot more than what, 240 characters now?
On Twitter? On Twitter, I think it's more.
280 or something.
Yeah.
I always hit the limit, and I'm watching that stupid gauge down at the bottom while I type, going, I'm almost got it in there. Oh, man, it turned red. I'll have to delete some things and start backing it up. I mean, you do get to see what's going on with people. You connect to a broader network, that's for sure. But in itself, it's not. Basically, I treat social media the same way I treat you if I'm face to face with you. I'm saying, if I'm saying it on social media, I would say it to your face. And then there's a ton of stuff I don't share on social media because I wouldn't say it to your face.
Yeah.
Not in a cut down or an insult way or anything of that. It's just I don't share certain things on social media because I wouldn't share them if we were sitting around the bar having beers.
Right. So let's look at like different companies. Let's look at like Chick-fil-A, for instance. And then we'll go into some more, maybe a little more local. But Chick-fil-A, national chain, and they were supporting organizations against the LGBT community. So they were going out, and you had people out there, social justice warriors, trying to, going to Chick-fil-A is bad. You shouldn't go there. You need to like make sure that they go out of business. But here's what you do when you do that. Just because the people that are running the large overlying corporation are donating money to these organizations doesn't mean that the people that are working there at that establishment in your neighborhood that's how they're thinking, and they're giving their own money. They're not giving their own money to that. They're trying to make a living, to work.
Yeah, they're working. That's the thing though with Chick-fil-A and companies as well. It's like when that came out, right? It's like, here's the list of all the anti-LGBTQ people groups, things that Chick-fil-A supports. You're not paying attention to the real world in the first place if you didn't look at that list and go, that makes sense. It's not like Chick-fil-A was hiding behind their little chicken and cow logos and stuff and going, we don't do anything wrong. No, they are screaming from the mountaintops that we are anti-LGBTQ, right? I mean, they've said it. And then it's also in the aspect of they are very much a religious organization. How can you figure that out? They're closed on Sundays.
They're closed on Sundays.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there should be no surprises there. And if you want to cancel, fine. Go onto Twitter and scream, cancel, cancel, cancel. So a few 100,000 people are not going to get chicken nuggets one day.
Yeah.
And if those people are still serious about their commitment to not supporting a company that does values and things that they don't believe in, then don't.
Yeah.
Don't. I mean, make sure you get on Twitter and get your woke points for
tasty
it.
Sandwiches, though.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, if I want to eat, I'm gonna eat. I'm going for food. I'm not actually pulling up to the front of the drive-thru going, damn their values. I want some waffle fries and some nuggets.
Yeah.
I'm a little shallow. That's all I'm after. And a lemonade. Give me a lemonade, right? And
They
it's
give you
but
some mayonnaise for those waffle fries. That's good.
if
So
you look at that, I think you bring up the very valid point. Is the people are just looking at the end Chick-fil-A bit, and they don't look at when you were driving towards down your street out of your neighborhood, and you're looking at 3 or 4 teens or young adults or adults in general that are walking from that Chick-fil-A going home. That's who you're really screwing with.
yeah.
Be vocal about your disdain for it, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't support the restaurant, certainly. If it closes, it's going to one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it closes,
but know that there's people
Just
that are
basically
going to support it. There's people that are going to support it that still love the LGBT community. They're supporting it because they like food. They like good tasting food.
right, decent fried food. Would it be? So would we lump the fact that, because I don't think we've had this conversation on the show. We may have in an early episode. Remember Chick-fil-A? Did they sue us? Not us, but the city.
San Antonio, yeah.
Because
they
of the
did.
airport. And they did so based on the fact that they were closed on Sundays, and that's why. But that wasn't why
because
it was said.
Because of the San Antonio airport, that we were officially saying that since you can't be open on Sundays, you can't be at the San Antonio airport because we need people on Sundays there to be able to sell food to people because people fly on Sundays.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the other thing is like for me, instantaneously, I just want to see one thing, right? Let me see the contract. Does the contract say you need to be open 7 days a week? Great. Bam, you're eliminated.
Yeah.
Please don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out of my courtroom. If the contract did not specifically state businesses must maintain operating hours 7 days a week, then they still need to be in consideration. And if they're eliminated from consideration.
And also, when do you always really want Chick-fil-A? On Sundays? Pisses me off.
That's true, man. You know, actually, I was like, oh, wait. And then I was like, wait, every time I'm driving on the road, it's like, oh, I should get it. Damn it, it's Sunday. It's kind of the same thing when I'm trying to buy beer at noon at H-E-B and I realize it's 11:30 and I'm on my way to the cash register. It's like, what the hell? It's the same deal, stupid connections. But it's into that same mindset. So,
so a little
City
more
of San
locally.
Antonio. Well, he covered it. He was sued by five local residents to ban them. The lawsuit was filed Thursday under a new law that was brought in September 1, 2019, properly known as Save Chick-fil-A. Oh yeah, that's probably a whole nother episode in itself. We'll come back. I digress. So locally, cancel culture has done.
So locally, cancel culture, you go through. I'll go to another restaurant. So Bill Miller Barbecue. So their CEO supports the Trump campaigns.
Right.
So there was a whole bunch of people that were trying to cancel them and cancel Bill Miller. But Bill Miller has been in our economy and our locality for decades and decades. Yeah.
No, so all of a sudden I got a lot of static when I lost you. Yeah, I mean, dude, we've been going to Bill Miller since we were kids. And I think
they have some on the south side.
Distance. Yeah. I mean, there's not, you can get to, when I was in a plumbing apprentice, and I was in sidekick in a truck for the longest time. We lived on sweet tea. We bought bucket. We carried the big mugs. I still buy those mugs just so I have something to water to drink because they stay cold. And if I need to drop off 3D printed parts to one of my customers, I meet him in an area that puts me right back past Bill Miller so I can go buy pies. His a CEO's perspective of Trump does not change my view of the restaurant.
No, because there's people that work at the restaurant that aren't that CEO or
Right.
do not hold the same insights that the CEO does. They work there because they want to check. And Bill Miller's is one of the highest paying restaurants here in San Antonio.
They are one of the more better paying from right inside the door. But it also plays into the other thing to look at. It's like, okay, so the CEO supports Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of those local restaurants has someone that supports Trump and someone who doesn't.
Right.
Can't guarantee facts like that, but just do the ratios. There's potentially 1-on-1 at minimal.
But
that also
yeah.
relates to Goya.
Mm-hmm.
How did he handle that? I didn't look at how he handled that.
Which one?
The CEO for Bill Miller's. What was his statement to that?
Oh, I didn't look up the statement.
I was just curious because, like, the reason I'm drawing it is like connected to Goya.
Yeah.
So Goya goes to the White House and he thanks the president and supports the president's policy. It's because we have a good leader, etc. And then he gets the wave of cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, cancel Goya, cancel Goya. I'm like, I don't buy Goya beans anyway. But
or the guava nectar.
I would. I would. Oh yeah, because they do that other juice and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's the thing that actually would make me go straight to HEB and buy Goya now is how he handled it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, there's the people, the cancel culture is just screaming the BS at this guy, and I'm not apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody was screaming for, is you need to apologize. I'm not apologizing. I was like, give that man a firm handshake. And then he states it very matter-of-factly on why. I went to the White House when President Obama was president.
Yeah.
Said very similar things. And I think he said something along the lines of, as an American who gets invited to the White House, I'm not going to turn that opportunity down.
Right.
And then the fact that he stood up and said, I'm not apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's it. That's the one thing that shuts down cancel culture, because is that topic still going now?
No.
Nope. He told him to get bent, and then he just let it go. Same thing from what I can see for the Bill Miller's one, because I'm refreshed now. It's been a few months, quite a while since that all started to come out and people were screaming ban Bill Miller's, right?
Oh, it's been like a year.
Yeah.
At least a year, if not
more. Yeah, but
still
very valid to the fact that it's local here.
And but here's the thing: the CEO gets paid money, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
He gets a paycheck. He can do whatever the hell he wants with his paycheck. It's not like he's taking funds directly from Bill Miller's and giving it to them, right?
I don't know if he supported a PAC. I thought that was one of the things that was reasons for it, but smoke past current. Yeah, Bill Miller will smoke past current Trump donation controversy. Joaquin Castro publicized the names of 44 prominent San Antonio donors to President Donald Trump's campaign. Dallas Miller, former CEO of the Bill Miller restaurant empire, created the sauciest stir. Social media rage because of boycotts and vows to never eat there again. Boycotts, not boycats. Other people, yeah, same sides, like, we'll totally do it.
So it's former, so he's using the money that he made that he got paid from Bill Miller's to support whoever he wants. He had every right to do that.
Exactly. And that
has nothing to do with the company itself.
No, nothing at all. The fact that he works for it. But we often see that way too much as well, as companies that have no spine.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as their name hits the news, and the news itself is bad, whether it's true or not, the news looks bad. and then they just bend over and bow completely first. So sorry, we fired the employee, and then the employee is innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Or it goes about the fact that it's a case like this, that a person in our country is to have that freedom, that ability to state an opinion, not be racist, not spread hate, not threaten or any of that, but just be able to speak their own mind, their own piece, and their own opinion, and not suffer retaliation for it, often just doesn't hold true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was 44 total like that. 44 names on that list.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I can find it. I may bring it back. Go on to your next piece that we had for this, and I want to see if I can find the list again.
Another one that's come up recently, because they're talking about possibly stopping RuPaul's Drag Race. And this came out because of the Black Lives Matter movement, because in the movie Tu Wan Fu, RuPaul wore a Confederate flag dress.
I saw a picture of that dress.
Yeah. Well, number one,
I actually saw two.
RuPaul is a Black American, an LGBT Black American, and she was making a statement by wearing that dress. She was making a political statement by wearing that dress, and they were saying, "Oh, it's worse that she was wearing it, even though she is Black, because she should know better." But you can't do anything without somebody taking offense to it anymore. I was like, where does it end? Where does it end?
Dude, I mean, that's what
I was like, oh, I don't like that you're wearing a blue cap with Geek Out SA on your cap.
That's exactly where I was going next.
I'm offended by that.
Yeah, so now you get canceled for it. But I mean, so it's in the it's not the cancellation. It's that symbolism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen other people get that. It's like, okay, so automatically so RuPaul's a racist then, right? That's what happens if you have a rebel flag. You're automatically branded a racist. 100%. You have no escape from it on the internet. You had a rebel flag, you're a racist. That's how this rolls. But somebody will come and argue that and go, no, that's not true because he's RuPaul. Okay, so you know something about the person that's wearing the flag that tells you they're not a racist. So why do you not give the same equal opportunity to the other people who are having the flag and they have their opinions on it? And their opinions, whether you like them or not, are freedom of speech and freedom of their opinion to have. And I can't understand how the generation younger than us gets so massively butthurt in that way. To me, it's very childish. It shows an entire society generational level of lowered maturity.
Is it lower maturity or is it ignorance?
Well,
it's ignorance. It's ignorance because they don't relate to people like they do when we were kids.
No. What's that Family Circus?
How many times do you see people talking? How many millennials do you see talking on the phone?
Oh no,
they're
very
texting.
few. They're texting. There's no emotions in that. There's nothing.
Of course, I love texting. I love doing that. I think in some cases it's the easiest way to communicate, but it's not the only way to communicate. And sometimes you need to go through and like verbally and see somebody and communicate. That's why I'm having such a hard time with this COVID thing, because I like to be able to like talk to somebody and see them face to face and meet with them and talk with them, because you appreciate that experience more than having a discussion on an electronic device.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that leads to like I said earlier, my despise my dislike of social media and the reason I share and don't share things. There's no emotional value there. I think social media brings about anger and anxiety faster than it brings out happiness and joy.
But it also brings out the fact that when you're behind a keyboard, you'll say things that you would never say face to face.
Some people will, for sure. Did
Wow.
you see the Family Circus cartoon? It was like little Billy thought he was on the internet and I punched him in his bitch ass mouth. And it's completely accurate because remember that stuff when we were kids. I think that's the difference in the world too, is because when we were kids, we could give each other a good wallop real quick. You want to talk? Okay. And you slug it out. Sometimes you got whooped.
Yeah,
and
but
guess
there
what,
was
though? It didn't change your opinions. You just had a couple of bruises afterwards. But it was different in how you approach things.
But you knew when to say something and when not to say something.
Right. Or you learned how to present your stuff better.
Right.
Right. Because some people, there are some things that spawn really good conversation. But if you deliver them wrong, it paints a totally different picture.
Now you and I disagree on a ton of things, but we don't get pissed off at each other when we do it.
No, and that's
we
one
listen
of the things
to each
that
other
just
to
came
kind
out.
of we listen to each other and we kind of like say, hey, well, I see your point here, but this is how I'm thinking it. But two people can see a thing two different ways, and it doesn't necessarily mean that either of them is wrong. They can both be right. They can both be wrong.
Exactly. That's the thing that's probably the best stuff, at least for us, is we twist the facets a little bit. We don't stop. That's got to be one of the issues, is the fact that everybody goes to their stopping point. They don't delve the conversation into those. Like you said, I see it this way, right? And then why you see it that way. And we go down the paths a little bit. And it doesn't occur at the same level now.
Yeah.
And that's
the thing. But we don't get angry that you don't see it our way. Maybe in some cases you get frustrated with it, but we don't stop being friends.
No. Yeah, and there's definite frustrations, especially as you're it's like I think I made that post, was the fact that a lot of people they'll say, well, I was debating with this guy and then finally I just had to cut him off and leave the group or delete the post. And I'm like, man, I'd really like to see that post. Or you see them post something saying, man, I just had to shut that thing down because that dude's stupid or whatever. But if you read through the thread, you can see that the person wasn't actually debating. People think arguing is debating. Arguing is not debating.
Right.
Debating is still, I guess you could say, it's a facet of arguments, but it doesn't have any energy put behind it. It's a debate based on facts and reasoning, and even sometimes not facts, just your own opinions and why you feel that way, right? Yeah. Who needs facts when you can have feelings? But in that, it's the first person to drop to the level of, well, you're stupid, or, well, you're wrong, and not go beyond that. As soon as that happens in a conversation with me, it'll end, because I'm not going to continue with you. You've already closed your door and you've closed your mind. There's no sense in continuing the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, because that does shallow a relationship, and it changes. It's like, well, I'm not going to bring that next thing you know, you're out drinking beers and the dude brings up a conversation and you're just like, not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, because I know which road that person will go down with it. And we do that. I'm sure we do it with family too. There's a good number of, it's like, what's that point in that discussion?
I don't know.
But people just don't compete. Why compete? Why are you? We're not competing. You're not competing in a conversation. There's no winning in that.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins in that one.
I mean, people are going behind it and they're doing it and they're angry about it because people aren't seeing it their way. Why are you getting angry about it?
It's a refusal to see it the other person's way too.
Yeah.
My way is right, and I know this sounds really wrong. Like this is going to come out sounding really bad, but it's like my way is right, and arrogance and all that stuff. And I guess there is a good bit of that there.
Mm-hmm.
That there's that arrogance, but it's like, I mean, because you and I've gotten into some stuff where we've been in that conversation and then we've just stopped and go, and we change the tactic and then we continue it. But I think that's just a benefit we have in our conversations. With RuPaul's thing, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
He played a part in a film,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to cancel him for a dress.
Or you look at you go into like movies again. Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Still haven't watched that movie.
And I think we've discussed this before, right?
We have, yeah.
He's playing a method actor. It's a joke of a white guy pretending to be a black guy and doing blackface and all that, but
there's a really good. Go ahead.
My generation didn't have a problem with that. Jimmy Fallon dressed up as a black man.
Oh, okay. In general, I thought you were saying they didn't have a problem with just the Tropic Thunder's portrayal of it.
Which other one? No,
just that one.
Oh,
that's what I was saying. Because when you're
people
saying
having problems with that, people are starting to talk about Jimmy Fallon when he did that on SNL.
Yeah, so for me, I watched old cartoons, right? I've watched old black and whites, 20s. I mean, way old stuff because I always love animation in that aspect. And you can see the derogatory use of it back then.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, you can draw parallels to the real world outside of animation, what was going on. So society in itself is reflected in the animation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I looked at it. I'm not sure how I looked at it when I was younger. I don't think I even paid attention to it.
I didn't pay attention as a child. No, as an adult.
Well, when you say child, I mean I think pretty young, pre-teenish. I'm talking the teen area.
Yeah.
What do you think? Was that the same? It was still just something that still didn't.
Yeah, I don't think it clicked then. Of what it actually was. I think it was just something that was entertaining us at a time. Now, adults that were watching it at that time, they knew what it meant.
Yeah.
They should have said something.
Or what they thought it should have meant.
Yeah.
Or what it could have been perceived as. I think this is the scary thing for me is I would actually be willing to pull up stuff, not going to show it on YouTube or any of that BS. But I would kind of like to go back to some of these older skits that all these comedians are being canceled for wearing blackface and really pay attention to some of them, because there are a few that were done and it was the comedic person's intent to show plight, people of color at that point, and adverse treatment.
Right.
Which I could also be on the fence or on the side of that's not okay then, because people would say, well, why didn't you use a person of color to portray that specific role? But in that other same genre, people don't look at it and see that, because you wouldn't just be able to put a certain actor or person of color into that role at that point. The person that's portraying it in blackface at that point, showing it as a plight of people, is using their notoriety to raise the awareness of it. Some of those skits, right? Not all, some of them. That's some of the stuff we see in social media today too, right? one person doing something to try and raise awareness of it, but we don't see too much. We don't see the scale of good outweighing the scale of bad things happening on social media.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see anything happen from RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, if they were to, who's the actual producer of RuPaul's Drag Race? Who's the network?
I think it's on VH1 now.
VH1 ain't canceling RuPaul's Drag Race. They ain't got any ratings left to lose. It's VH1, man. We only switched to VH1 when MTV stopped playing music.
Yeah. It used to be part of the Logo network.
And then moved over.
Yeah.
I don't see him canceling it. I think
I don't see
he
it.
deleted a bunch of stuff on his Twitter, which
Mm-hmm.
I would get behind as well. It's like, go ahead, delete it. You know, you're not going to be able to explain your way out of something to people who don't want to hear your explanation. If, as I said before, if I was ever run into a role of this is how I would react to cancel culture, regardless of what it is that were to be slapped upon me, is all of my social media would be instantly deleted. Everything I do would be completely deleted. And I wouldn't pay attention to a single thing. And I certainly wouldn't come out and apologize. It's not the gross population of haters that you owe an apology to.
Right.
If you made a specific offense towards a specific person, to a specific person, that person you would owe the apology to. And do you need to make that apology on the damn internet? No. If you're a true human, you get your ass in front of the person.
Yeah, do it in person.
And have the conversation, rightfully apologize. And then have that conversation, right? Which then turns you into allies of each other, right? Because now it's like, look, I was a jackass. Shouldn't have said that. This is why I said it. Oh, dude, that's not true. Oh, well, shit, we don't know each other well enough and I drew a wrong conclusion or something. But apologizing to a group of haters, no. I kind of like the way he's handling it then, by just going, deleted.
Yeah.
And then not even talking about it.
Yeah, I think he I don't know. When he's in a dress, she's a she.
Yeah, there's nothing even coming up on it. I mean, that's how easy the media cycle can't keep dragging up the traffic, because he just squashed it and said, all right, whatever, that happened. I've got things to do now.
So Gamergate.
Yeah, that goes.
I think that's kind of like when Gamergate is kind of when we see cancel culture kind of like really move in and be visible.
It does take it. I think so. That's where I think that it's like the rise of SJWs and Gamergate kind of came about. Stemmed from a harassment campaign conducted primarily through the use of the hashtag Gamergate. Controversy centered on issues of sexism and progressivism in video game culture. Gamergate's used as a blanket term for the controversy as well as the harassment campaign and actions of those participating in it. Started in 2014. Targeted several women in the industry. Zoe Quinn, Brianna Wu, Anita Sarkeesian. Yeah, that is such just a goofy thing. The entire bit of Gamergate. I don't have big friendly feelings for Zoe Quinn, just on things I've seen that have occurred. Not disparaging her or putting her down or anything like that, but no pros or cons to it. But in that, it's somebody blows out a relationship problem on the internet and then the others take off with it.
Yeah.
And we carry again, we're still into cancel culture. That stuff's still going on now, dude. This Gamergate gets dragged up nonstop. Gamergate itself is used almost to the equal level of just calling someone a racist. Like saying somebody was well, the Gamergator or GG, you'll see it abbreviated in tweets like that, and tags to another person. It's used in that same label. Whether there's validity to the application of the label or not, it just gets tossed around like a sticker. But because of that sticker, whether it's true or not, the hate mob mentality of cancel culture just grabs onto it and then starts dogpiling.
Yeah.
And
Can't we all just get along?
All right. We can try.
We can try. Let's make things better. Let's learn about each other. Stop being jerks.
Yeah, because even if you're in the right, which will transfer us kind of over to Angry Joe's issue, right? So Angry Joe gets called out on sexual harassment is what they were trying to pull on him. So or what was said. And then it goes to, it turns into cancel culture too, right? Cancel Angry Joe show, all of that stuff. Everything went nuts. And then it comes back and I saw it, I think it was the Quartering or somebody else had posted. It might have even been Arnita Sarkeesian, maybe one other. But one of them posted up that basically he had the receipts. He had video coverage of everything he did. He was at an event. So, of course, they're videotaping for his YouTube channel. So through this entire night, they've got him on video. And the person in question is also showing up on video. But at the times and intervals that this person said these things supposedly occurred, none of it lines up.
Yeah.
So he has the receipts. So in that aspect, I'm using receipts specifically because there was a direct tweet from another person who says that, oh, so now men can just have the receipts and the person is wrong. Well, yeah, if you have proof that the person's wrong, that's kind of how things work, right? And so we're just using that situation as an example. Regardless of who the person is, if you apply an accusation to it, they prove that you're wrong, which is a rare case for someone to actually do successfully on the internet these days. There's got to be backlash to people who do that. And I look at it as a legal matter because the internet dogpilers who then realize that they should have actually been jumping on the person who made the very first post just quietly suck up their hate.
Be a whole lot of slander claims.
Yeah. They don't jump back. They don't push back into that same person. And that's the only reason I could see some more legal or regulatory aspects of it. We've signed up for everything. Your anonymous name on the internet is not anonymous.
Yeah.
The other thing that we have that's difficult is the location of incident. So which law takes precedent? I'm in Texas, you're in Idaho, I say something stupid, it's actually criminal. Is it criminal in the Idaho law book and Idaho comes after me, or is it criminal in Texas and Texas should be handling it because I'm located here and it's where I
federal
claim? Then you get kind of almost like interstate commerce kind of thing or something. Would that be interstate commerce? I don't know, but crossing state lines. So it's I do see that as valid. But in our own legal system, half of us can't do anything about it. How deep are your pockets for a lawyer right now to go after somebody who talks smack on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean,
we could go into the same with Ethan and Gila. And they wound up suing the guy. But it took a GoFundMe of like $270,000 or something like that. And they created FUPA around fair use and things like that. It's all in that same mindset. We don't have the money to fight back. Plays into our own legal system, and how do we do that? How do we make that happen?
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you want to cancel something, fine.
But here's the thing. Why do you want something canceled? Just don't view it. Just don't eat it. just don't buy it.
Keep scrolling.
Don't watch that.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah, don't watch that movie that actor's in that you don't like.
Cancel your subscription.
Yeah.
Don't go to the theater. I don't know, adult. Right?
Yeah.
It's like just adult. It's what is that benefit? And it's the I mean it would
Does it make you feel better about yourself that you get to do this?
That's gotta be it. It's gotta be it.
It's gotta be it.
My endorphins are on high because I'm canceling somebody. Actually, it'd be really nice if we look at it. We see this stuff go on between businesses and stars, right? So if the star gets canceled because of something they said or did, which is really not all that big of a deal, or even if it is, the company cans them, it's proven that it's backwards, they have ability to sue the employer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd also it'd just be good to see it flip. You dumped all this hate, now it's back on you.
Mm-hmm.
Which, we're dealing with
now you get to pay.
In a way, right, in a way, not in a vengeance or retaliation mindset, but it's like, hey, you need to be a little more mindful. So let's look at that with Twitter, right? So Twitter is under, we talk about the what is it? I'm going to say article, but I don't believe it's right, but the 23, right? So their job, and we agreed on it, even though private entity and all that stuff, that they are properly covered as long as they're doing what they feel is in the best interest by blocking an account or deleting a tweet. Fine. You have a hate mob tweet identified on your system. Everybody in the damn tweet that's pushing it or retweeting it with a comment that is suitable, which we have enough bots to read that stuff, all of a sudden gets a 30-day. Go to your room. 30 days. Think about your stupidity. Come back later, right?
Yeah. Like if I'm gonna, I don't go after the people that talk mess about me.
Oh, well, I'm too old for that crap.
It's just like, what's the point?
Yeah, there's definitely not there. I mean, you know what? I report tweets. Mm-hmm. But I report them on valid reasons of it.
Right.
I don't delete the person. I don't block or mute. But if you are just spewing some stuff, I'm not going to report you or your account. I'm just going to be like, well, I guess they've got a crowd for it. I'm not part of that crowd anymore. Unfollow.
Yeah.
Bye. Right. So we can do that. There are avenues. It's like, why? What does cancel benefit? It'd be one of these days, man. Really rich companies.
Apparently, it makes people feel good for doing it.
Exactly. Could you see that though? One of these days, a company with the right type of monetary concerns or values or money in pocket starts dealing with BS from cancel culture and says, "All right, fine, we're closing," and just legit ceases operations, shuts the whole place down, sends everybody home. Mm-hmm. See how fast cancel culture gets slapped upside the head for that.
Yeah.
That result comes about. I mean, it's like hands down. All businesses of X name will close tomorrow.
People are out of a job.
Yeah. Be a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah.
So,
causes more harm than good.
Definitely.
A lot more harm than good.
So far from what we've seen, definitely causes more harm than good. There's not. I mean, if somebody in the chat, if you have a positive experience where cancel culture did a value or a service, chuck it in the comments. I'd love to read up on that and see how cancel culture actually benefited something. I'm not talking about Me Too movement, one of the others, but it's the so like if we look at the Al Franken thing, his photo, the cancel culture because of that photo then yields other women coming out.
Right.
So that's how that played. Is that where Me Too comes in? Am I misunderstanding that?
That came, right after Me Too.
So very similar in that aspect, right? Somebody said Me Too because so-and-so did something. Okay, so maybe in the same Me Too environment. But not, so something, let's rephrase that. Something other than Me Too show me a value or a service that cancel culture has benefited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just want to see, and it's like we said, we're not saying it's always bad. We're just saying it does more harm than good.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see the scale tilted the other way. Show me the value that it's doing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because if you look back far enough on anyone, you're going to find something. Unfortunately, you're going to find something now.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, unless you're a timeline scrubber, which a good number of people are for that. And it's not, I mean, it's just like, I'm going to dump all this crap. It's 10 years worth of stuff. So I'm just going to go through and delete it all. If Internet Archives, you can pull up some of that stuff, but you have to be a little more identified of directly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, those, so what? So great. There was another incident actually just recently. What was it? I think I might have even tweeted it. It was because it was that kind of scenario where someone celebrated a success somehow, something they were rewarded or something was good in the public eye. And they then, it's like doing a good thing all of a sudden just triggers folks to go dig through their Twitter timeline and find something hateful looking or racist or something we can take out of context and make it look like it is.
Yeah.
And they went and did it. And if you have to look back 10 years on somebody to find something offensive they did, and you can't draw a direct parallel to continual behavior of the same all the way through to this day and age,
yeah, then it shouldn't matter.
That person is not the same person they were at that point.
Usually people aren't the same people that they were 10 years ago.
No.
Usually. Well, it depends on, like, what.
Yeah.
There are varying degrees of... I mean, but... That's what people have to understand is things aren't black and white. There's a lot of gray.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gray in there that you have to take into account.
Yeah, cool. And I think that's where you and I debate very well, because we will take something all the way to the purest of the facts, and then we'll go out into the gray. But we start at the purest of the fact, and then we go back to the purest of the fact in our debates. So we always expand and come back and expand and come back, and the ability to do that is a value. So it helps with some of the arguments, but
yeah,
that's it. Single topic for the month. We'll have to come up with another one for next month, where we just spend times on our feelings and some stories on it.
We went a lot longer than you thought we were going to go on this.
And it's I think we traveled into some places on it. Our positions are fairly obvious on how we don't see it doing too much value. But I guess that puts it out to the chatters too. If they have an idea for just a single topic that we should jump onto and just spend an hour babbling, put it in the comments.
Cool. If you haven't subscribed, please click on that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so the next time we go live, you can see us.
But, hit that down arrow, or not down arrow. Put the thumbs down for us as well.
Thumbs down.
Always thumbs down. Thumbs up will be good, but
leave us definitely leave us some comments on this one. And thanks for checking us out. I'm Pinche.
Yeah. I'm the Gringo.
See you later.
Have a good night.